All right, everybody, we are live.
Hey,
All right.
All right. Now, just off the top, let's think about how many of these have we done with you now, Lori and Jim? This is our third or fourth, I think, maybe.
is it our fourth?
Mhm.
It
It
might
is
be
our fourth.
I think so. I don't know. Y'all are doing so many and we're doing so many. It's hard to keep up.
well, the wine's so good. Why even just keep track? Let's just keep
That's
doing
right.
it until the
Yeah.
wine runs out.
It's just a fun way to spend a rainy day here in Napa.
Absolutely. It's
Absolutely.
this is episode 18 for us.
Wow.
And
No,
what a
no.
great episode. What a great episode we have in store.
You know, it's funny. It's like, we obviously started doing this for fun and never thought we'd do 5 episodes, and now we've done 18. This is the third consecutive episode. I haven't screwed up what episode it is. So, pretty excited about that. So, Laurie, Jim, welcome back.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
It's good to be here. We're in separate cities today. I'm in Napa and he's back at his office in Charleston, West Virginia. So it's all right.
So we're going to have some fun today, and you told us that you did something special for us, which is a tasting that you've never done outside of the tasting room. So can you tell everybody what we're doing today?
That's correct. So this is the first time that we've actually done anything like this outside of our taste room and without, and offering this to non-club members. So we are tasting our '08, '09, '10, and '11 H block Cabernet vertical today. All of the, every vintage is from Pritchard Hill, but it's going to be amazing for us to see the little bit of difference in each one of, each year. It's every year produces something different. And it's interesting, when I did this the last time at the winery and we did a little, chocolate and food and cheese pairing with it. And we had the 7H block at the time. So it was the 7 through the 11. It was a pretty big deal. But everyone liked a different one. It wasn't like everyone was like hands down, oh yeah, I love the '07 or I love the 10. Everyone liked a different one and for different reasons. So it's going to be interesting today to see which one, kind of floats your boat compared to everyone else.
Absolutely. Jim, I got a
All right.
question for you. Did you travel with the wine back to West Virginia, or, was it already waiting for you?
I brought back 3 cases, and then I'm coming back out again shortly and bringing back 3 more, because we're going to do a West Virginia wine club function, hopefully here first part of June. So
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Very nice.
You can take 3 cases back for free. So it's a great way to avoid the shipping charges.
Of course.
That's got to last you at least 2-3 days.
It's,
no, my partner drinks 3 bottles a day. So you're right. That probably would last, how long, Lori? I don't know.
I don't know. You have a few people there that enjoy your Falcor, and y'all will have a lot of events. So you're right. It does not last very long at that law firm. Or
3
here.
bottles a day at 3 cases is 1 case worth of days, so 12.
Well, he doesn't drink that much, but close.
Here's your higher math calculation for the day.
What Lori tells
Exactly.
me all the
Yeah, I
time,
did that.
she loves depletions.
Yes.
And so we do a lot of depletion work here.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
We've been doing a lot of depletions lately with everybody stuck inside and drinking a lot. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys, we actually haven't talked about this. I don't know what you guys put in your glass first. I put the '08 in first.
I've had mine. I have all 4 of mine out. I've had them sitting
Okay.
out there breathing for 30 minutes. And then I have the vodka in another glass. Yes.
And I have my vodka in the other glass too.
All right. Well, let's
Right.
start with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now this
So
is
this is,
straight
you
no
guys
chaser
pick.
vodka.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Straight no chaser vodka made by Hard Truth Distillery in Southern Indiana. Our partners on this project. DR, you want to talk a little bit about the vodka?
Definitely.
It is 7 times distilled, and they use wheat. And they're working on sourcing all the wheat from Indiana. But right now, all the wheat comes from one of the tri-state areas. So they're going to try to get it all sort of right there. And the 7 times distilling really pulls almost like 99.9% of the flavor out, right? So normally with vodkas, you want it to be a flavorless distillate. And I think that sort of That's fine, I think, but for like, I'm a whiskey drinker, so I call this the whiskey drinker's vodka because it has very, very subtle nose and palate, and I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about that.
There we go. Bottoms up.
Are you just going neat?
Yeah, I'm going neat.
Yeah.
And I'm actually drinking it in a whiskey snifter.
That's cool.
And yeah, it for me. But again, I want to hear what you guys have to say because
Well,
for me,
because I like the nose. To me is a very kind of a muted floral sort of a nose.
I agree 100%.
And it really
That's fascinating. I've never caught that with any vodka before.
Right. Well, me either, because
Yeah, I was calling it like a very subtle herbal note, but floral for sure.
yeah, it's so muted. It's just
just you kind of look for it.
just barely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So again, like if
I'm not going to plug any other vodka because I drank the other American vodka, but now I'm going to exclusively drink this American vodka.
Cheers to that.
This is really, I mean, because if this is honestly the first time, well, that I can remember that I've ever had vodka just straight.
Right.
You know, whiskey, I'll do whiskey and water. Vodka, you know, you're always mixing it with something. So I think I think it's very wise that y'all did something that's a little, that's definitely off the beaten path. That if you are a whiskey drinker, then it has some appeal to you, right? Then because it's not, but you're right, it's not like flavorless and it's not odorless.
Yeah. I mean,
Relatively smooth, right? It finishes clean. It's got a very slight, but again, it's not so much that it's going to mess up whatever cocktail you want to make. Like I make Bloody Marys. You know, we mix this with LaCroix that's got a subtle flavor to it on its own, and you know, it works well in all your favorite mixed vodka drinks too.
Yeah.
How can I buy a case of it? Can you deliver to Napa?
Soon.
Soon. So bring a case soon. Lori and I are purchasing a case.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of getting like, we had some really fresh cantaloupe over the weekend, and in my very top palate for something, I'm almost getting something, again, it's very, very light, but almost like I mean, subdued is going to be the best, you know, kind of word I can use. And it hits me in my upper mid palate.
Yep. I feel the same way, and I like that. That sort of like a hint of like some citrusy sweet, maybe. I still get that sort of herbal sweetness. But yeah, super subtle. And Siggy, want to hold up your glass? That was how we drank it the first time we had it, was on the rocks like that. And Siggy and I just kind of looked at each other and we're like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. When I tried it, which is, you know, again, I'm not a vodka drinker whatsoever. When we were all there tasting it the first time, I was like, wow, I could totally drink this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't need to mix it with anything. And, you know, it drinks like a whiskey. It's, you know, we said earlier, it's a whiskey drinker's vodka. It really is. It can pair, it can stand on its own. It's really sort of checks all the boxes.
Well, you know, what I like about it is, you know, and Tink and I tell all the people all the time, we don't really chill down our Chardonnays and our, you know, very, very cold, because if it's a little more of that European room temperature, to me, you can taste all the flaws in it, you know, and in that way, that cold isn't like covering up any of the flaws. And that's why I did mine, you know, totally neat today, because I really wanted to get the entire essence of everything, you know, in there. I certainly was not expecting to find any flaws, and of course I have not, but what I enjoyed was, I think that it just really popped in that mid and upper palate of my the upper palate. That's where I'm getting it.
And I'm drinking at room temperature, right? So, you know, you throw this on the rocks, I think if you put it in the freezer, you're going to lose a lot of that subtlety. But again, if that's how you like your vodka, throw it in the freezer. You know.
Yeah.
You know, have fish with a cab. Who cares? Drink what you like.
Right.
Also, something to mention, I think, you know, most people as they get older kind of move away from vodka. I've been the opposite, but most people move away from it because, you know, in high school or in college, you're drinking really, really crappy vodka because it's cheap. And you're getting really, really bad hangovers and really, really bad headaches. But something to note about this is that the ingredients are so high quality that you're not, listen, I'm not guaranteeing you're not going to get a hangover if you drink too much, but you're not going to feel it like you would some of the other vodkas out there. I mean, this is on par with all of the top shelf vodkas, in my opinion, as far as the quality of it. So you're not going to have that headache before you go to bed or when you wake up. Obviously you can overserve yourself, but yeah, I you know, if you're drinking a lot of Absolute, you're not going to feel too great. But if you drink some of the Straight No Chaser vodka, you will sing amazingly.
I tell you what, it got a 91 on Wine Enthusiast, which I think, to our knowledge, is the highest new release small batch craft spirit that they've ever given. So pretty proud of that. And right now it's available at Kroger stores in Kentucky and Indiana, soon to be Illinois. And in those 3 states, anywhere you buy fine liquors. We're also working on a deal that'll get us out to California and a few other states. So stay tuned.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I appreciate y'all sharing a bottle with me because
yeah, of course.
I was so interested when you told me that.
Yeah.
DR, you are going to have to learn to if you're going to be packing that for you got to learn to pack better.
Okay.
I can't believe it made it. It was literally like in like one little piece of paper just thrown in a bottle. Like, oh, good Lord.
Well, I've been saving some of these boxes in accoutrements. So next shipment I send out to you will be
perfect.
More better.
I was happy to get it. I'm not criticizing.
It worked.
It worked. I got it, and I'm happy.
So I have to grab my next glass. So I'll be right back. So
Okay, should we start talking Cabernet?
Yeah, let's
start talking Cabernet.
Why not? I'm excited to share these with y'all. So for those of you on here who maybe don't know what our H block is, it was at one point in 2003 was the first H block that we ever did. And it was the highest end cab that we brought in at the time. It was from Howell Mountain, and we called it H block because it was the highest block of cab, and it also was from Howell Mountain, so it just kind of made sense. And 2003 through the 2006, yes, were all Howell Mountain. And then in 2007, we went over to, 2006, we went over to Pritchard Hill. So the 6 through the 11 were Pritchard Hill, 3 through 5 were Howell Mountain. And 2 top AVAs for cab in Napa, the 2 top as far as I'm concerned. And the 2007 was our most awarded wine to date. It won Best of Class and Double Gold at San Fran International, LA International, Finger Lakes, best, and what else? Several other. It was just so, we got so many awards on that one. It was just the most spectacular wine.
I still have some 07.
Ooh, save it for a special occasion. That is just still drinking so good. But they'll all lay down for so long. Yeah. So we're still drinking some of our 03 H blocks, and they're drinking just great. And that's 17 years. But this is what I'm excited to try for y'all. And I love when people get a vertical. Not many people really have the luxury of doing that, or some people don't even know about it and why it's fun to do it. But it's fun to see what each year Mother Nature gives you and how it changes this, the fruit from the same vineyard every single year.
Do you want to explain what a vertical tasting means for our non-wine enthusiasts that are watching?
Yeah, so a vertical is just, sequential years. So like an 8, 9, and a 10, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't have to be so many, it doesn't have to be 4 or 5 or 6. but it does have to be so many years in a row of the same varietal and of the same vineyard. So it can't be, you can't have like, I love that. You can't have like our Napa cab and our H block cab and consider that, that's different. It has to be the same. It has to be the H blocks or it has to be the Napa cab in order to call it a true vertical.
Yeah. Basically the same wine over different years.
Yep. Same wine over different years.
So I want to point out real quick. So we're going to taste 4 different years of this H block cab. Now, you could open all 4 wines and have a really great night. Or I know David and I are using this fancy little machine called a Coravine.
Yes.
And what it does is it allows you to pour wine out of your bottle. Where's the 2008? Without opening the cork. See? Right. So what it does, it basically replaces what it takes out with this gas, and it keeps the wine fresh. See? Boom. No leak.
Right.
And I still enjoy the wine.
Not sponsored, but should be a sponsor.
Should be a sponsor.
Should be a sponsor.
Just for the record, we are accepting literally anyone as a sponsor. So any company, any product, it doesn't.
It is a very nifty tool, and we were discussing earlier, one of the things that I like to use it for is if you have an old vintage in your home and you want to take it out to dinner, get out to a restaurant for dinner, you're able to taste it and make sure that that bottle is still good or it's not corked. Right. There's nothing worse than taking a special old bottle out to dinner.
Yeah.
And then
in your toast, and then you got to order something totally random. So that's a really good use for it. And I tell people too, I mean, I do this for a living, so maybe it's a little different for me, but after about 3 or 4 times that you corvin it, I can tell a little bit difference in the wine in the bottle. So, my advice to you is corvin it for an occasion like this, and then keep the bottle and then open it for dinner one night, down the road. Doesn't have to be next week. It could be 5-6 months from now. I just wouldn't corvin it like 5, 6, 8 times.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best to get through most of this wine tonight.
Yeah, I know you will.
I have faith in you.
I don't have the fancy Corbin, so we're just going old school.
You could get them at Best Buy. You can get it at Bed Bath & Beyond. They go anywhere from like $200 to upwards of like $700-800. I have the Model 2, which I don't even think they sell anymore. But it's a really great thing to have, and it's a good gift for a birthday, a Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. Anyone who likes wine, it's a really, really great gift.
I agree. They are nice to have. They are nice to have around the house, especially if it's just you sitting around and you're like, wow, I really want to open a really nice bottle of wine, or just have a glass before you do something else.
Before I have another glass.
What are you working on there, Lloyd? Is that the wine before the wine?
This is I'm trying the 08 first. So this is actually
the 08 first. I love it.
Yeah, this is actually our current release. So what I've done is I've gone through several times to see how different the nose is on each one of them. Mm-hmm. To me, they all smell like H blocks to me, but each nose is different. Ooh. To me, the most significant difference on the nose is the 2011, and it so reminds me of our 2011 cab, which was one of the best cabs we ever produced. And the nose on it is just so similar. So I'm almost want to jump to that one first, but I'm not. I'm going to go in the order 8, 9, 10, 11. What I encourage people to do is try the 8 first, and then try the 9. And then once you go through the whole vertical, then go back and start going from, jumping around and seeing the difference from year to year. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want to do. Remember, we taught no rules in wine.
No rules in wine.
No rules in wine. But it's a kind of a good way to go, okay, here's, the oldest one and the next oldest, and to see how it progresses, and also to see how's that laying down in the cellar. How's that old one, the older one, holding up to the newer ones.
So as I was sniffing them, I got a lot more fruit on the 10 than I did on
it is.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more fruit forward.
Yeah,
Just like smelling it for a while first.
I love smelling wine. It's just so.
So good, I know.
This '08, I'm getting, you know, a little barnyard funk on the nose,
Yeah.
which is, you know, it's a little
Musty.
old world feeling to it. You know, on the initial, definitely getting black fruit.
I like that you're still getting some tobacco in there. You're still getting some of your pepper and your spice, but you know, this is a 12-year-old cab and it's just aging beautifully. And that's what I love about it and I like that the price point is, especially for our club members and even with the discount today, it's very affordable for even a Wednesday or a Thursday night wine. It's not one that you have to save for like your 10-year anniversary or something super special.
I was going to say the tobacco is something I get.
Yeah.
It's really present.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get that.
You get a lot of tobacco in it. I like that in a cab.
That wet earthiness that I love that in wine. So that's my jam.
That's that funk, man.
Yeah. Like
you get the cigar box in there, which is, you know, akin to a tobacco, but it's a little bit different flavor. I get on the mid to back, I still get a lot of spice on it.
It's got a real smooth finish.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
Right off the bat, it coats the palate. Hits you like, I think I'm getting hit most in like mid to back.
You do.
And then as soon as I take it down, it just not any burn. So I don't know if it's low acidity or anything, but
well, knowing you guys, it's probably 14 in the neighborhood of 14.
Oh, no.
14.2.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's a really rounded finish, which is nice. You know, you're not like, oh, we gotta wait for it to get all the way down. Like it's, you know, really smooth.
Some of us burn.
14.9, by the way.
Say what?
14.9, by the way, on the 08.
Oh, really? That low? Oh, that's great.
Mine says 14.2.
We don't,
I'm looking at the 09. Sorry.
yeah. We've never promoted that we have low alcohol wines. I don't see any problem.
Nor.
It's not our,
I don't know why you would want
our motto or anything we strive for. So the 08 to me is a great example that shows you how well our cabs will lay down and that they're still fresh and that they're still vibrant after 12 years. That's pretty good. Now remember when
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Go ahead, Lori.
No. I remember when we did this years ago, how different, and like, I think it was 3 years ago, how different all of these tasted and they smelled at that time. I remember each one of them tasting and smelling so different. So.
It's not overly tannic. It's got some tannins, but it's not heavy.
Is that still the 08?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now with the 09, I'm getting a little bit more cherry in there. I still get the tobacco, I still get the spice, but to me, the 09, and I remember our 09 cab too, we had was kind of, in the bijou that we had, all the cab that here for some reason kind of had a really good, beautiful, dark cherry flavor to it.
Mm.
You can even get a smidge of that on the nose. It's just dark.
Yeah, dark cherry.
Yeah, very.
Some more of that star anise that I get a lot in cab.
And to me, there's like this really faint hint of almost like vanilla in there, super faint.
Yes. Yeah. That actually hit me right away as it kind of hit my mid palate. I got that right away.
Which to me makes it really interesting. and very unique. I mean, I guess they're kind of like your kids. If you have kids, they're all different, but you love them equally,
Oh
Or
yeah.
you say you do?
This 9, it smells like someone has a bouquet of flowers and a bag of mulch, and they just held it up to my face and said, "Smell."
That's a great.
You know, I'm getting a lot of like just a bouquet of flowers. And then like Brits was saying before, that barnyard, and like DR was saying, the wet earth. That's
Lori, can I tell
Actually
a
get a
story?
little more. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
No, but I'm going to ask Lori's permission first, because somebody had mentioned a taste of like the star anise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had someone in the tasting room, this is a long time ago, and they said, "Oh, I get the taste of star anise." I said, "Oh, really?" So anyway,
What does that
story.
taste like? I've
It
mispronounced
tastes
it a
like
couple
crap.
times.
I was definitely not trying to do that in our line, I can tell you that.
What?
Segi, I'm getting the same thing on this 09.
Yeah.
I'm getting
I get more of that cedar box on the nose of this one. But for me, I get, yeah.
How long has yours been open, DR? Has yours been open a little longer? I think.
I poured these right as we got on here, so about 40 minutes.
Yeah, mine have been open for almost an hour. It's amazing how different these are going to taste and smell, once we hop off of here and we revisit.
Still great flavor. Finish is clean, not a lot of burn. Again, I'm assuming 14-ish% alcohol. Just clean.
This one's a little more
Good with-
tannic to me than
Yeah.
the last one,
Yeah, I think it is.
but a little softer.
It is.
Definitely softer.
Yeah, the 08's a little funky. And I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
09 is
Yeah, a little bit more there on the palate too. I think the 9 is got maybe more tannins, but it's just softer as a whole, and it's a little more subtle as it finishes.
Laura, you were saying the 08 is just is funky. It's a little bit of a wild card, and I like that about it. The 09 is tannic and soft. A really beautiful wine. Doesn't have the same funk as the 08.
Yeah, it's just a completely different. Isn't it amazing? just what 1 year how different it can be. That's what we go with every year. We have to whatever Mother Nature gives us. Then that's what Fernando and I are in here, and trying to make sure it still tastes like an H block and it's H block quality, but they're going to be different every year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm going to move on to the 10 because I like to then go back.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I'm trying not to drink all of it. I want to go back and taste intertaste them.
Drink it all, DR. You got a lot of work to do.
You got 4 whole bottles open, babe.
I know. Well, I think my palate will only be good for maybe about the first 1.5.
Yeah, especially when you're doing caps. Wow.
At 14%. We'll likely save the older 2 and finish those tomorrow.
Sure.
But so this 10, like I said, it's still real fruity. Well, at least relative to the other 2.
It is. It's a lot more fruit forward for for again. Who knows why?
And Lori, that 08,
Yes.
not even at peak or anywhere near it. You've got another 5 to 8 years on that at least.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I kind of agree with you. It just hasn't. And same with the 07s that we were talking about that you had scrolled away, and we had a few scrolled away. When I tasted it last Friday or whenever on our club's only Zoom, I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. And I told you, you know, I went down to kind of redo our cellar, and Tink and I have been pulling like some super old, like 2000 bijous and things like that. And they're drinking just amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that they're laying down for a long time. You know, we age them for quite a while in the barrel. I think it really helps a lot. It just, really just kind of.
I want to ask Britt and Lori, both of you, but Britt specifically because you mentioned it. What is it about this wine that triggers to you that idea that it could sit for another 5 to 8 years?
Sorry, I was just pointing over that 10. So for me, it's just feeling and tasting the life that's in the wine now, knowing it's an 08, seeing some of the flavor profile, the spiciness of the wine, just knowing that it hasn't started to hit that curve where it starts to flatten. You know, when wines age, to me there's a point where they start to flatten out, and they become neutral. It was really interesting. I've done some vintage wine tasting, and you know, I remember being at a tasting and doing a wine tasting of my birth year, and looking at the color of the wine and going in and saying, wow, this is going to be really flat, because the color had faded, it had oxidized a bit. And I went in and I tasted, and I was like, wow, this still has life. You can tell that you could drink it for another 2 or 3 years and it's still going to have a presence. That's what that is to me. When I'm tasting in, you know, the 08, I'm saying 5, 8 years minimum, still drinking this, still at peak before it hits that point where it starts to fall off the cliff.
Yeah. And that's a great description. And also too, you know, David's been around for a while, and so he's had some of these 08s as well before. So, you know, your brain always triggers the last time that you had it. And, you know, here we're always constantly, you know, how's this one tasting? How's this one tasting, to make sure, because, you know, the last thing, because y'all know we wait a while, we hold on to our wines before we put them out. But the last thing I want to do is hold on to them too long. So where by the time I get them to you, then they're peaking. And then that's no good. So, you know, I want you to be able to enjoy them and lay them down yourself for a while and drink them over the years.
This one is more along the lines of the 08 on the nose for me. I'm getting a lot of that cigar box. Yeah.
A lot of cigar box on it. A lot.
I have a feeling I'm going to really like the taste of this one.
I'm still getting pretty big fruit, right? It just smells real sort of jammy, like big strawberry.
I get some like peppercorns too, like almost like a steak au poivre, like the sauce you put on a steak au poivre, that peppercorn sauce.
It's starting to get into that. It's opening up. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit more of that baking spice.
I love steak au poivre.
Same here.
Steak.
Next time we do a show in near my hometown, we're going to go to a restaurant called Vincent's, and they make an incredible steak au poivre. So we'll hit that up.
Are the girls acting up, Lori?
Dog duty, sorry. It's just a little challenging to do this with dogs.
Yeah, and you know, the 10, you know, it's got a little age on the nose for me. Yeah. Definitely getting a little cedar.
Yeah, cedar. I was getting that cedar box on the first one too, Seg, so.
I still, on the very back end, to me, I get candied cherry on this one.
Like I'm definitely getting a more red cherry fruit versus.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, on the back back palate, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting like a tart cherry almost.
Yeah, like a.
Yeah, again, like the 08, this is
going back
me mid to back palate. Whereas I think the 9 was a little more front to mid.
Now, as I'm going back and tasting these other ones, I'm getting more of that anise on the nose. And what I really love, we talk about this a lot, like what I really enjoy about wine is when it interacts with food and how the flavors complement and change. And I'm starting to notice that now in this vertical, right? As the different years are now starting to complement and change. Maybe that's just they're opening up more and their natural progression, but it's fun to taste them back to back to back.
Well, it is. And I think the important thing to do with these is that you, especially if you could pair them with foods when you do this at home, and if anybody who purchases these, I would highly recommend doing some cheeses and some chocolates. You know, taste the wine first, then taste it with the cheese, then taste it with the chocolate, and then sit back for a little bit. You know, taste each one, sit back for a little bit, and then go back and let them sit out for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You'll be amazed. They'll taste so different than when you first, you know, sat down to drink them.
You know, if we're doing like the halftime report, or I would say at this point, since we're trying the 10, we're in the third quarter.
Yep.
That 9 for me is really standing out. You know, the 8 will hold a special place because of the funkiness.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for a little funk, and that's, you know, that's definitely something I like. The 09 is what I'm gravitating towards right now. When I just went back to it, a little of that dark cocoa in that, starting to get some of those notes. So yeah, that's where I'm sort of gravitating towards.
Well, you and and one of my clients in West Virginia, I think he bought about some of the last 30 cases we had of it. Every time I called him, he'd order 2 or 3 cases of it. It's the one, yeah, he's drinking a lot on that boat. It's the one that we actually have the least of. So that's why the 9, the 10, and the 11, we have very little of those. And we have a little bit more of the 8, but not much. So that's why the 2008 is out of library status for our club members, but the 9 and the 10, the 11 are at library status. And today, what I did for y'all and for all your clients was, you know, these wines, they retail for $420 for the vertical, which is pretty darn cheap for Pritchard Hill vertical. And we're doing 15% off with the SNC code that we've always used through Friday the 15th. But I realized, hey, there may be some people that maybe you don't like cab, or maybe, you know, you want to just try some of our other wines first. So what we decided to do, since we love y'all so much, is we were going to extend on our main wine page, on the wine shop page, a 15% off with that SNC code to any of the wines on the wine shop page. It will exclude library wines, which the 9, the 10, and the 11 are. So the only way you can get a discount on that is through the vertical, you know, tasting that we have. And it excludes club member only exclusive wines, of course, and in large formats. But I think you're going to have something like 12 or so wines to choose from on the main page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was that code again?
SNC.
Super easy.
Super easy.
Yeah, we included that, you know, on our last email blast that we sent out.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's
I'm just making notes in the comments here too, so people can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know, it's fun for us to try these wines. I think it's fun for other people to try them too, and you know, if we can help get people a deal, you know, even better.
Well, and it's cool because we have had a lot of new clients come on because, I mean, you know, they know y'all well enough to know that, you know, you're going to be on here drinking some good wines with all these wineries. You're not drinking bad wines and talking about how great they are. You're going to be drinking some really good wines. And with a lot of wineries that maybe they don't distribute, and maybe they're small like us and they're family owned, and the only way you can get them is, you know, direct consumer. We don't distribute anywhere, so you can't get us in a grocery store or anywhere else. I think it's great that y'all are turning on all your fans to, you know, some of these really small boutique wineries that a lot of people just never come to Napa. It's the only way that y'all would ever get to know, that ever get to know about us.
Well, it's our little way of bringing Napa to everyone, because to your point, we've been fortunate to spend time there, and not everybody gets to. So if we can bring in a small way Napa to everybody's living room, then, that's fun for us. And I don't think we've had, outside of the tastings that we've done, where we've done our grocery store tastings,
Yeah.
we haven't done a tasting on this entire series that you can really get commercially. They're all direct to consumer,
Yeah.
small production wineries that we've had on.
Well, I think that's a huge, huge, you know, thing to do for your clients because, like you said, y'all are so lucky that, David, you're up here all the time and you've gone to probably more wineries than I've gone to up here. So you know which ones to weed out and which ones are great that you really want to share to not only your fans, but just to the rest of the world. And we sure appreciate it because it's just Tink and myself here, and he's not even here. So now it's just me. I'm just kind of a one-woman show here doing
And
everything. Yeah, taking calls, letting the dogs out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Packing up wine.
Right in the middle of this, but and trying to drink wine, but and so we do appreciate it, and so and I have so enjoyed meeting all of your fans. They're all so nice, and they put little nice comments in their orders, and so I always want to email them back. And I think what is what your fans probably want to know is that when you're coming to Falcor, it's just usually me here. Tink's here a lot too, so you're actually getting to interact with the owner, one of the owners at least, and hang out with us. And I'm the one, doing all your orders, processing your orders, so you can always get in touch with an owner. And I think that's hard to find these days out here in Napa.
it is, and that's what we all like about it, because we all run small businesses.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, Bruce. Yeah, I think we gravitate towards you guys because obviously we love the wine, but also because we relate to, the small business nature of what you guys are doing. And we run a similar ship, just we entertain in a different way.
Right. Yeah. I'm ready for y'all to start entertaining again. I miss seeing y'all.
Us too. This 11, I can see why this would be the favorite. Right? I think
it so reminds me of the 11 Napa. It's just got a more, to me, it's a different profile on the nose than the other three.
Yeah, it's a little more complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting like maybe some
I get some caramel.
I was getting blackberry.
Almost like a caramel apple, it's.
I'm excited to taste, but I'm just enjoying the aroma for a minute.
There's almost just a smokiness in there when I taste it. It's kind of hard to describe almost sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I get that candied sense that Peggy's talking about too. It's definitely got a lot more, I don't know, complexity. It's got a lot more front to back going on.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something about the weather in 2011 that you can attribute this to, or?
11 was such a challenging year weather-wise, and it was hard to. We really had to work with the wines, and it was the one that the Wine Spectator, they just panned it. I think they even said don't even buy any 2011s. And our regular 2011 cap that we had, it was so bad in the bottle after we bottled it. And I waited for the bottle shot to go, and it's like 6 months later, I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst wine we've ever made. And I kept tasting it and tasting. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm gonna have to throw out 200-300 cases of this wine. It is terrible. I just put it back in the cellar, and I just kind of like quit. I just like, okay, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, the wine fairies just magically descended upon it, and I tasted it, and I'm like, oh my God, this may honestly be one of the best calves we've ever produced. And we put it out for a Christmas party and sold out of it in like 2 days.
I was going to say that because Britt said that he was gravitating towards the 9. I'm gravitating towards the 8 because of that funkiness. That's my jam. But this 11 is incredible.
See,
it really is.
that's why I'm glad y'all are on here to kind of, put in your 2 cents worth. It's kind of, 'cause since we're the owners, we've always got some sort of, I guess, maybe preconceived notions about it. We've been drinking it more often, so we kind of know. But I love that y'all are finding all these beautiful nuances in here.
So this 11 on the nose for me, Lori, white pepper right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
right off the top. I'm excited to try this. I like the nose on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, you're gonna. I mean, I feel like it has more. It hits more of the palate, sort of front to back. Right. There's more going on. But still, everything that has been great about these other ones, right? Finishes. Yeah. It doesn't have a lot of burn. Finishes clean.
There's a lesson here. A lot of people, rely upon various wine experts to tell them what to drink. The 2011 vintages across the board were panned, including by Parker and other folks, where they said, don't even buy it. And so what happens is people listen to that, but what you see, the proof's in the bottle. With a good winemaker, with good ingredients and good techniques, even in a bad year, which, there were some problems with the growing season in 11, but with good techniques, you can produce a great wine.
And Jim, was it just a yield thing in 11? Was it a low yield year?
It was a very cold spring, okay? And it wasn't a really especially hot summer. And because we rely upon having really hot summers and then very cool nights, and it didn't follow the pattern. And then we had a shortened season. And so that's why they were panning it, saying, no good wine could come out of this year, right. Which,
yeah.
So do you think it's the struggle, right? The grapes that were struggling to grow,
you nailed it.
That produced just this outstanding product. I mean, obviously in addition to the winemaker and all that, but
sure.
Yeah,
you nailed it. That's the reason.
But it was interesting. If you had gone up the valley, people were like, all of a sudden they were, they had their 2010s out, and then when they should have been releasing their 11s, they were like, oops, they just went straight to 2012. A lot of people just bought into that, and we didn't. We just held on to it. I think we even released like our 12 cab before we released the 11, because I just held on to it and just, fingers crossed that it would, turn out spectacular. So, because I'm always just highly optimistic about everything, and thank goodness it did. I was so pleased with it. But this is kind of what it reminds me of the 11 cab so very much.
You know what's funny is I don't, thinking about the wines that I own, and then I have, sort of in my collection, I don't think I have a lot of 11 cabs.
Right, because a lot of people just throw them away.
Yes. Yeah, they sold them at fire sales, and they got rid of them.
Or just.
Seg, it'd be interesting too, if you went and looked in your cellar, how many 11s you have. DR, same thing,
I'm going to, after this, I'll take a look.
You don't have a bunch of 11 cabs.
I don't know, I'd have to look. But Lori, just putting it out there, I'd be willing if you come across another vintage where you feel like it's a lost vintage and you're just going to throw away all the cases. I'll cover the shipping. You could send it COD. It's totally fine.
Had you been around in 11, I probably would have taken you up on that offer. I mean, I was pretty upset about it. We've never had to throw away any wine. That was going to be a first. I was not happy about it.
So Lori, Tink, we had a question from Carla, one of our fans. She wants to know, how did the fires up there change the grapes and the wine? Did it change the taste of anything?
Well, it will change the taste of it if they get smoke damage. So the last big fires, there was a lot of fruit that we did not get. We didn't get our Rutherford cab because it got smoke damaged. You'll know, if you taste a bottle, you'll know if it was smoke damaged. If the smoke actually got on the skins and it seeped into them, it's going to taste like you are licking a fireplace. I mean, someone in the valley was trying to sell it. He said, "Oh, it tastes great. It tastes like it's got bacon in it." I'm like, "Why is you don't want bacon in your wine, in your Bloody Mary, but not in your wine?"
Right.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes, it's true.
I know. When they told me that, I'm like, seriously, I'm like, are you selling it? He goes, no, I'm really trying hard though. So why would you, most of the people actually, you know, everyone got out of their contract if it was smoke damage. Unfortunately for the farmers, you know, they just had to eat the loss. No one would buy it. No one would even, why would you pick it and try to bottle it? There's so much expense that goes on once you pick that fruit and you bring it in. You got to put it in, you know, $1,100 euros, which is even more expensive.
Even more.
You know, and then bottle it, you know, at, you know, 40 something dollars a case. So yeah, you just skip that vintage that year and you're like, well, what can you do? But it does affect it. Now, if the fires are there and there's no smoke here, the fruit's good. And that year that the fires were so bad, Howell Mountain was okay. That just never got up that high. That smoke never got over there and up that high. So there were a few key areas that were okay. But Calistoga and Rutherford got kind of decimated with the smoke. That's a great question though. And no one's going to tell you that. You just have to remember when the fires are and know your wineries very well and know that if they put out quality wines, they're not going to be putting out that.
Just be careful about the 2017 vintage on the reds. If they say it's got a really smoky flavor, be careful.
Is it a scotch or a wine?
There you go.
Maybe a little too smoky. Yeah.
Hey, market it to your scotch drinkers. There you go. Scotch drinkers, cat. Super smoky.
I mean, most folks are, you know, they're not going to risk their reputation for grapes that aren't up to par. You're higher quality.
Agreed.
You know, they won't put it out.
Definitely not those of us who are small. You know, don't distribute anywhere. If you know, again, if you're buying hundreds of thousands of tons of fruit, and you can blend it maybe with another 100,000 tons of something else, you may be able to hide some of that somewhere. We could all probably pick it out, but maybe not. But you're right. I mean, no one really wants to do that, but it's definitely not something we're going to do. And I know all the people that y'all hang out with aren't doing it either.
No.
Yeah. So now that we've which ones everyone gravitating back towards, or you just start from the beginning, starting all over?
Should we put them in an order?
No, there's no order.
Yeah, each person put it in the rank order, and then we'll do a test here and find out.
This is tough.
Yeah,
I've got my order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to go first then, since you have your order?
Sure. So I'm primarily a cab drinker. I know Brits and DR are big Pinot guys. I really, really love the old world style. So that funkiness is also my jam. So my order would go the 8, 11, 10, 9. And that's not to say the 9 is bad. It's that
just saying it's in good company. Yeah.
Yeah. The softness of it, to me, lends itself closer to something a Pinot drinker would probably gravitate towards, which is probably why Brits was gravitating towards the 9. But for me, I love those, you know, walk through the wet forest cabs. I really, really love those. And I was getting a lot of that in the 8 and the 11 and even the 10. And the 9 was that kind of outlier where it was just not getting a lot of that barnyard, a lot of that mulch. It was more floral and a little softer. So 8, 11, 10, 9.
All right. Anybody else?
I'll go ahead and say, for me, it's very similar. The only difference is that it's a toss-up for me between the 8 and the 11. The complexity of the 11 has really been fun to experience. And obviously I like that old world you know, funky barnyard, wet earth that I you know, my wife and I went to my wife and I went to a wedding in Dijon, and so we went down to Beaune and tasted a lot of the Burgundies. We really enjoyed that. That's what we like about Pinots, that earthiness. So for me, that really is great about the 08. I love the 11. I think it's a toss-up for me which one is better. And then the 10 and the 9 for the same reason that Segi just said.
Yep.
Not that the 9's bad. None of these are bad. These are all delicious.
They're all completely different.
You're asking me to make a tough choice.
Well, that's right. And I think the fun thing to do about these, like if you had a vertical tasting at your house and you had people that are all different, you know, have all different flavor profiles, and yeah, you're gonna get a lot of all different. I love this one, I love this one, but I think it's so fun to do these. That's why I wanted to do this with y'all. I mean, to me, it's just so interesting. And
I totally agree.
We were gonna put these away, but I think I'm having so much fun doing this. I'm definitely gonna bring my wife and our nanny, and we're just gonna do this. We're probably gonna drink all 14.
Oh yeah, you know you have to. Of course you have to. Yeah, because it'll be interesting to see in another hour how they've kind of changed a little bit. But you of course bring them in and share the Falcor love, spread it around.
So I don't know if I'm going to surprise any of you by this. I'm going to go 11. I'm going 09, 08, 10.
Yeah, not surprised.
No, and
what was it? Talk about why. Talk about why.
Yeah.
Well, the 11 for me, it's drinking really nicely now. Out of all of these wines, I think the 11 is going to have the most staying power, believe it or not.
Yeah. I
might agree with you on that.
I think that you sit this down in the cellar the longest of any of these wines. It's a really, really nice wine. I like a little of the spice, a little of the white pepper vibe, which I'm getting really strongly on the 11. Completely different than any of the other wines, in my opinion. The 11 was a completely different flavor profile and vibe than any of the other wines. So the 11, the 9 for me, you know, probably to Segi's point, you know, I do like, you know, at times something that's a little silkier, probably heavier on the tannins, you know, which is why the 9 appeals to me. 8, I do like the funk, because again, depending on my food pairing, having something a little funky really is a lot of fun and makes a ton of sense. For me, the 10 was the one that took the longest to warm up to. I think it's going to change a little bit the longer it's in the glass. But you know, that for me was the one that you know, that took a little longer to warm up to. The 11 is.
I told y'all when I smelled them all, I gravitated towards the 11 first. To me, the 9 reminds me of our reserve cab. So it's a lot smoother than the others. The others are more of your heartier, you know, H-block, typical cabs that we're producing, but to the 9, and again, that year, it tastes the same to me as our 09 Bijou tasted and our 09 cab. It was just a more subtle cab year that year. I guess that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And 10 to me is, you know, our 10 Bijou was just a rock star, and it won almost as many medals as as our 07 H-block did. So these wines to me have changed now over an hour since they've been open in the profile. And they're like we said, they're all equally good, but it's just, what do you prefer? And again, we've got, for all your fans, we've got the vertical available for 15% off of the retail value of $420. So you can taste it, and then you can see if you agree with the guys and agree with us, or, you know, what you think's, you know, your preference. And then also 50% off on any of our wines on our wine shop page, excluding our library wines, our club-only wines, and our large formats. And you can contact me directly at sales@falcorwines.com if y'all have any questions about any of the wines or anything.
Lori, let me make a suggestion to our fans, because they might hear that price point and think that's a little steep, right? And, you know, maybe it is for your budget.
Right.
Here's my suggestion to you. Take that 15% discount, get these 4 wines, and then maybe get a commitment from 4 or 5 friends that when all of this is over, you celebrate by doing exactly this.
I agree.
Pour some of this out. However, you know, you could do this with 8 friends.
Sure.
You know, everybody gets a taste of all the wines, and then you do exactly what we're doing right now. You have this vertical tasting, and really enjoy the, you know, tasting the difference year over year over year over year. I recommend that you do that. This has been a lot of fun. If you just do it, take the leap, take the 15% off, do it. This is awesome.
I would agree. I would agree, because first of all, it's hard to even find an old vintage Pritchard Hill for under $250, much less 4 for $357.
4, yeah, 4 beautifully made wines. You're not gonna dislike any of them. It's gonna be which one do you like the best. You're not gonna dislike
any of them. No, you're not. And you're looking at
The perks of liking acapella got you a 15% discount.
That's right. That's right. You're looking at under $90 a bottle at your discount for, double checking my math on that. Yeah, under $90 a bottle for 2008, 9, 10, and 11 Pritchard Hill Cabernet. Yeah. It's really beyond a good deal.
Another suggestion to follow up with that tasting of the 4 is get 4 people to go together and buy a $150 or $175 bottle of a particular year's cab, and then brown bag all of them, and then you all taste them, and then you rate all the 5 and see.
Oh yeah, totally.
And that way, then you
could do that with these, right? You can do exactly that with these. Just brown bag it, pour them all a little bit, and then everybody talk about which ones they like, or you know, which they like the best. And then, you know, you're surprised. I like that idea. We've actually talked a lot about trying to do a blind tasting virtually. Obviously, it's a little more difficult. Oh, my phone died. Thanks, buddy.
Right.
I thought you meant just brown bag it and walk around town drinking it.
I got it. It's a good deal.
I've definitely seen some wine influencers that I follow on Instagram that are taking their glasses and just walking around their neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's drinking a lot of wine these days. I think everyone's getting introduced to a lot of new wines because we're doing all of these, and we're reaching a lot of people we would have never reached. You know, we're small and we're definitely off the beaten path. So I think it's awesome. But I think what Tink was referring to is that, you know, we'll put our wines up against any wines in the Valley, and it'd be interesting if you spent, you know, $150 on a super high end, $200 on a high end bottle of wine, and then you blind tasted it compared to, you know, our wines, and, you know, a cab against a cab. And we've done that before, actually, with a $350 bottle of a very well-known cab here with our reserve cab and with some other winemakers, and ours won hands down. No one picked the other one. In fact, they couldn't even believe it. They couldn't believe that they'd never tried it because it was such an expensive bottle. No one wanted to pay $350 for a bottle of Cabernet. It's a blend. It's not even a single vineyard. So just, you know, we don't mind.
That was the thought. Just price comparison and shop and taste profiles.
Or just spend your $175 here. Just some really good wines.
Well, I mean, you think of, if you think, you know, even current releases or library charging that type of money, you know, if you're charging $250, $350 a bottle, I mean, that's a significant.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
That prices out the vast majority of wine drinkers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very few can afford that.
You know, and I mean, or want to pay that price for it. You know, even if you can afford it, just a really good example. I've got a guy that comes down once a year, and he's kind of like almost like a broker. He just buys for a lot of very, very wealthy collectors from another state. And he came to see us, and he's like, I am looking for really, really good wines and cabs I can get for under $125. And he bought 15 cases of wine here in 2 hours sitting here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lori's like
Well-
99.99.
Yeah.
Well, and to what we were talking about earlier, right, Lori? Like you know, these, like this 11, for example, you could put this, we call it lay it down, right? In the is because you're laying the bottles down in a cellar and you're putting them away for a while. So you lay it down.
Right.
You could lay this down, and it could be, you know, it will be, right? Just by virtue of aging, it will be a much better wine in the future. So you've got these guys, these brokers that are doing that.
Yeah.
It's an arbitrage situation.
Yeah, and and plus they're really savvy too. I mean, he wasn't just buying our cabs; he was buying our Sangiovese because it's, you know, super Tuscan. It's got cab in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was buying our Cab Franc, which is hard to find good standalone Cab Franc. He bought a ton of that, and he bought
I
tons of
love
our.
your Cab Franc.
Find it. You
No,
can't
me too,
find
that
it because
Cab Franc.
everybody pulled up their grapes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Well, yeah, totally.
Don't sleep on that rosé though.
love that rosé.
I have a case of that rosé sitting in my other room right now.
If you
Well,
if you
not a
want
full
to take
case.
advantage
We
of
have
that,
been drinking some of the bottles.
if you want to take advantage of that discount, that rosé is a nice place to apply it.
Yeah, the rosé is killer. I love the rosé. You know, Grenache and Carignan, super light, grapefruit. I mean, we've got over 15 different varietals, so it can be a little daunting when you go on our webpage, and there are a couple you may not have heard of, like a Graciano. So, you know, hit me up at sales@falcorwines.com, and I'm happy to explain anything to y'all and talk to you about the wines and, you know, walk you through the process.
Graciano is just Graciano, the Bijou.
They're, yeah,
I
good.
mean, they're just.
Bijou is my jam.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bijou is, yeah, that's been that's the first red wine that we ever produced. It's a Bordeaux blend, Cab Franc, Malbec Merlot, Petit Verdot. Yeah, it's just a classic, beautiful blend, and we're using our Napa Valley fruit there. We put a little Howell Mountain in there usually, so you can kind of see some elements of that in there. But it's the one that we make the most of, and it's our signature red. But it is great, and the Graciano to me, I just got a little, you know, a little special place in my heart for the Graciano. I don't know why. It's just the sexiest wine we produce. It's so sensual, and it's such a fun wine, and no one's ever heard of it, and that's why I love introducing it to people. I love the Graciano. I'll be excited. Y'all drunk text me later after you've gone through all 4 bottles and tell me which.
100%.
Hey, Lori.
I did.
Hey, Lori.
Yeah.
Can I do a plug for our West Virginia Wine Club event if we're going to get it? Can I do that, or should I? Not?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, if we're going to do that on June 13th, sure.
Right. And
It's
so
safe,
what we're
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what we're proposing to do is we're going to pair our Bijou with Wagyu beef burgers and hot dogs, both Wagyu beef. And I'm going to do a special sauce with sous vide chicken. So we're going to do our Chardonnay chicken sous vide. So that's what we're doing.
And we'll be doing pouring a little rosé, and that's going to be at Jim's Law Firm in Charleston, West Virginia. For those of you in West Virginia on June the 13th, we'll be sending out an e-blast to all of our West Virginia folks. So if any of you,
I'm not suggesting anyone travel to West Virginia for that. I'm just saying that I'm considering it right now.
Hey, DRB, so it'd be worth your flight trip. Plus, me,
Sounds like it.
Ray Cook, the last one he did at Christmas was unbelievable. He's got a law firm that's just a beautiful structure, and they've got a great patio. So people can still, if you want to social distance, you'll still be able to 6 feet from
Yes,
the next.
we will. We have plenty of space.
Plenty of space. But yeah, y'all know we like to entertain a lot. So for those of y'all that are there, we can do that. But until we can get y'all out here, that's the best we can do for now.
I'm plotting, Lori. I can't wait to come back, and I think I speak for all of us that we can't wait to get back to.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I can't.
It's got to happen. But thank you for this. This was a treat.
Oh, it was fun.
Totally.
All the H
It was
blocks.
very fun.
This is awesome. I think DR hit it on the nose with the idea of when this is all over, get a group of friends together, take advantage of the discount, and
Yes.
taste this with some people you like. And even if you don't like them so much, the wine will help tolerate them.
Right.
So, you'll like them maybe a little bit more after you have some wine. Whatever
Right.
the case is, split the cost with someone, do it. It's fun. It's a fun way to really learn about wines, to learn about flavor profiles. You can even bring in some white pepper and some star anise and
Great idea.
baking spices and fruits
Mm-hmm.
and actually smell those things as you taste and really get into the weeds of this whole thing. I don't know if you want to bring mulch in the house. I mean, you can.
Mushrooms, like wild mushrooms, right? We'll have that same sort of earthy scent. Yes, absolutely.
Just do the tasting outside so you could social distance, and then bam, mulch
There you
is
go.
right there.
I'll try there. You're all good. Well, everybody needs to remember your SNC code is good only through this Friday, the 15th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just do it. Just order it now. Take advantage of that 10%, and then get
15%.
15%. Thank you.
Even better.
Yeah, even better.
And on all the
Even better.
wines. And I do have to do a disclaimer that because we have so little of the 09 HVAC left, there are going to be limited quantities of the
So hurry.
of the vertical left. Yeah, absolutely.
I just texted some of our friends telling them about this discount and how awesome this vertical is. So I imagine we're going to be doing this again.
I think everybody will enjoy it. I think everybody and your wife and Annie will be happy that you saved some for them.
I know they're enjoying that I'm doing this, the Real Wine Bros with these two guys.
I'm sure. Got the wine you're tasting and loving it. Well,
Delicious. It's
I
amazing.
really appreciate doing all of these with y'all. I've had so much fun. Maybe we'll do. Let's try to schedule another one. I don't know what we may be running out of wine. We may have to revisit something else because we've done.
We can go back. Absolutely, let's go back.
There's things we haven't had yet.
Yes.
Have we done Chardonnay? Well, we haven't done Chardonnay, have we?
We haven't done Chardonnay, and we haven't done.
Done the mall back.
Ooh, yeah.
We've got a new Malbec, and we've got I did a pre-release on the 14H block, and for the club members. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we want to do on the next one. But the Chardonnay is just.
How about the port? We haven't done the port?
We've done it on another one.
Peggy doesn't like port.
Huh?
Peggy doesn't like port.
Let's do some of the other wines. Let's take a look at. Did we do the Merlot?
No.
No, we haven't. And your Merlot is one of my jams.
Okay,
Sure.
I think
We'll call it the M&M. We'll call it the M&M.
Yeah, I think we really need to do the Merlot. Let's do the. Okay, all right, David. You and I will discuss what we want to do and set it up next, so I can get everybody's wine shipped out tomorrow.
M&M.
Okay, here's what we've done. We've done the Graciano,
Okay.
Cab Franc. We did the Tempranillo, Pinot Noir, and the Napa Cab.
Okay.
We did,
And then the H
and the
block.
H block.
Okay. So that leaves us with a ton of wines left still. We haven't done the Sangiovese. We haven't done the Malbec. We haven't done the Merlot.
The Zinfandel.
The regular Zin, the
Zin.
Blanca.
Your Zin turned me on to Zin, honestly. I was very anti-Zinfandel, and then I had yours, and I was like, okay, I need to revisit my thought process here.
Did you have the regular Zin, or did you have the 13 Premier Zin?
I think it was the regular. It was whatever you poured when we were there.
Yeah. Drink whatever for you. I love that about you. Yeah. Yeah, our Zins are pretty rocking. So, because they're not too jammy. You know, they got more of that earthiness that you like. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk. Let's book another one. Let's talk about. We'll get some wines out. I get some wines out tomorrow. Let's get it booked.
Well, the fun thing
Love
is,
you guys.
we put these up and we post them obviously on Facebook and on various wine pages, but, they live on YouTube, and, the plan is that, people just continue to discover these things, and maybe the discount code isn't active when somebody watches it, but if they watch it 6 months down the line, they watch it and they discover the wine and they reach out, and that's the whole thing, is that we're all promoting things that that we enjoy, and we enjoy wine, and we enjoy good people, and you're good people and you make great wine, so it makes it easy.
Well, we love y'all. Y'all know that. I love doing these with y'all. It's the only way I get to see you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only
It's the only way we see anybody right now.
I know. I'm like a nomad here now. Tink's gone. It's me and the dogs just hanging out. But all right, y'all. Well, good to see you. Hey, let's get another one planned. Let's figure out. I'm totally down with the Merlot. We need to do the Merlot for sure. We had a ball the other night with some salmon burgers that Tink made, and it was the best pairing ever. So yeah, let's because we're doing recipes on our website now and on Instagram.
That's great.
Everything that we're doing on there, we're personally making. So we won't be doing any this week because I'm solo and I'm eating leftovers. So. This thing's not here. I'm a good cook, but it's hard to do it when you're solo here. Yeah. All right, y'all. Hey, I had a great time as always.
Miss y'all.
All
Miss
right.
y'all, love y'all. And David, let's get together after this and let's we're gonna do
My
next.
glass is empty.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers,
Bye.
y'all. See y'all soon. Bye.